is Wednesday, which means you take that W, you turn it upside down, you get an M for Money Mike Giordano here.
That was really clever. That was very good.
Thank you, man. I'm having fun. And today's going to be fun because we get a lot of insight from you. The markets have seemed to have had a lot of mood swings in recent weeks, but that doesn't mean that we all have to ride the wave of emotions ourselves. So we're going to talk through some ways that we can stay sane through parts of our investing journey. Just break it down. What is going on with the markets lately? Because looking at, my investments, it's hard to look at right now.
Yeah. The market does have mood swings, but we don't have to have mood swings alongside the markets for sure. Yeah, I mean, part of it is, we've had about a 10% sell-off in the S&P over the last couple of weeks. So it's been very quick, and so that gets people a little unnerved. The other piece is that we haven't really had a lot of volatility over the last couple of years. So it's like all of a sudden reintroducing it's a little bit of a shock to the system. Those two things. But basically what's happening with the markets is that you got some policy uncertainty out of Washington. People aren't sure what's actually going to become policy, what's just talk, what's negotiating, all that kind of stuff. And then you have some fears of maybe some slowdown in the economy. Nothing like, we're not talking about recessions or whatever yet, but we're just saying there's potentially some fears. And when the market's priced for perfection, any kind of imperfections can create this volatility.
And I can't look at my stocks that are in the red and say, hey, go green, please. We can't influence the markets, but we can better experience this whole thing. How can we go about doing that?
Yeah, the first thing to do, Rashad, is to think about why. Why do you invest in the stock market in the first place, right? And for most people, it's because they're trying to grow their wealth in real terms. They're trying to grow their purchasing power, which means that you've got to get your money to grow faster than inflation's eating away at it. And stocks are one of the ways historically that have been able to outperform inflation over the long term. So that's the reason why you even invest in the stock market. And so it's kind of like no pain, no gain. In order to get more return, you got to take risk, basically. And so that's kind of why you have to deal with the volatility of the stock market. So if you understand that, then you're able to understand why you're investing in the stock market, but that doesn't mean you have to take the full brunt of what's happening in the market.
And in knowing that, how can we better align our money during this time?
Yeah, aligning your money is so important, and it comes down to what your journey is. So that's the first thing you have to think about is, where am I today and what are all my goals? Lay those things out on paper, figure out how much money you need at different points in that journey. So it's no different than if you're getting in a car and you're driving and it's like, okay, do we got to get to Georgia? Do we got to get to Arkansas? Do we got to get to Oklahoma or California? And depending on that, kind of how fast you need to drive, right? With your investments, when you start laying things out, you start figuring out how much return do I need to get? Do I need a 4% return every year? Do I need a 5% return, a 10% return to get where I need to go? And if you only need a 4 or 5% return and you're investing like you need a 10% return, then you have the ability to really dial back your investments. So that's what you're trying to figure out to get into better alignment.
And with the recent sell-offs, is it simply too late to make some changes, or can we still get in there and mix things around? If we
No. It's not too late. This sell-off, even though it might be a little concerning for people, it's basically a garden variety sell-off. You see one of these almost every year. So this is totally normal. And all this does is maybe retrace us back about 6 months to the fall. That's kind of the levels we're at now. So it's certainly not too late. What you want to do is make sure get yourself in position so that who knows what's going to happen in the future. I'm not Nostradamus or any of the other amazing, forecasters that way. So it's impossible to know what's going to happen. So it's better to get yourself in alignment so that you can then tolerate whatever is going to happen in the future.
All right, Mike G, always giving us wisdom and knowledge. We appreciate it.